Hello and welcome to episode number 6 and the practice of mentoring with Doug Lawrence. I'm Doug Lawrence and welcome to the practice of mentoring. I'm an international mentor and have my certificate of achievement mentoring and my certificate of competence mentor from the international mentoring community. I'm currently working on my certificate of competence journey mentor. Now, the journey mentor certification will expand my practice to include mental health, mental well-being, and post-traumatic stress. We'll touch on some of that a little bit later in this video. But today I wanted to share with you some of the conversations that I've been having over the course of the last week and provide some insight into where that may be going to take us. So one of the things that is, you're probably going to hear me repeating over and over again, is the term the mental health ally, and the mentor actually acting as that mental health ally. And that can be accomplished, and the research that I've done has shown that in a number of places. I believe in Eastern Canada and also in the United Kingdom, they have utilized mentoring processes and concepts to be part of the support structure that people are looking for when they are dealing with mental health, mental well-being, and post-traumatic stress. So at the international mentoring community, we've taken a look at a lot of this data, and what we have decided is that as part of our certification process, in particular the Journey Mentor, the focus will be on mental health, mental well-being, and post-traumatic stress. Now you're probably thinking, okay, that sounds like quite a bit to bite off. It's a progressive path to take, and it's not for everybody. I'll be truthfully honest that I've invested a lot of time and effort in additional training in that, on top of the mentoring pieces, as far as EMDR training, cognitive behavior therapy, suicide awareness, suicide intervention. And so those are all things that I, as a mentor, need to be able to have in my mentoring toolkit. Not that I'm a practicing counselor by any stretch of the imagination, but for me, it's very important as a mentor to understand what my partners, my partners, what they're able to provide to support those that I've built relationships with. And it's really important to be able to understand that, certainly from my perspective. Now, you'll recall in my introduction, I'm partway down the path of working towards my certification as a journey mentor, and my focus is going to most definitely be on mental health. Let me share a conversation I had with one of my mentees who is dealing with post-traumatic stress. And so we talked our way through. We spend roughly an hour every 2 weeks. And to be honest, that's probably just skimming the surface as far as being able to provide the level of support that a person who is dealing with all the things that this individual is dealing with, is probably not enough time to be allocated for them to be able to deal with that. But in any event, a couple of points I wanted to make. Number one was that there's always the concern or the conversation about fear, and fear of what they know, but also fear of the unknown as well. And they know what they've experienced, but they don't know is, to any great extent or any definitive extent, they don't know what it's going to do to them or cause harm to them as they progress down the healing path, whether they can even, whether they're even able to heal is probably another question we need to ask. And one of the things that was really important that come out of that conversation that I had with this individual was the fact that I, as a mentor, was non-judgmental. I, as a mentor, was a great listener, someone who could listen and hear what this individual was saying, and that I was actually paying attention, and that the conversations that we had, while they may not have been structured by definition, that they got more out of our conversation and us spending that hour together than they did perhaps with some of the other people that they were working with to deal with their with the things that they were struggling with: post-traumatic stress, mental health, all of those things, right? So it was really important for me to capture that. It kind of locked it away in the back of my mind, and basically saying, okay, if I'm looking for having to substantiate the benefit of the journey mentor and what that can do to the support structure, I think this person just basically said everything that could possibly be said as far as the value that a journey mentor with a focus on mental health, mental well-being, and post-traumatic stress that they can bring to the table. What I also wanted to share with you was one of the comments that I had a meeting last week with an individual, and one of the questions that I was asked was, you must be run right off your feet with what it is that you are capable of doing and what I've seen you do and all of that. And it was very interesting, because one of the things that I've noticed is that people are somewhat afraid to reach out and say, I think I need help. Um, it's ironic because I've been through that path and kind of tried to deal with stuff on my own, and it didn't go well. I was fortunate that I had a great support structure here at home, but that was also part of the thing, was that had I not have reached out at the time that I did, I may not have had that support structure at home. That, it was explained to me in no uncertain terms that if things hadn't have changed, then I was going to be on my own. And if that's not a wake-up call, I'm not sure what is. So um, it was interesting that this individual felt that what I offer, the journey mentor, focus on mentoring, mental health, mental well-being, post-traumatic stress, that I would be run off my feet, and I'm not. And so part of that comes back to the whole fear thing, is fear of reaching out, fear of what I might end up finding out, and I'm not sure that I want to do that. Instead of saying, let's sort of kick the tires, let's give it a whirl and see where this goes, because I need to get help. I need help to be able to work through this and to be able to do it in a fairly timely fashion. A phrase that I have borrowed, that I stand by, is, now, are you ready for this? Pen and paper handy, is silence keeps us sick. So for all you folks out there that are reluctant to reach out and ask for help, just remember that silence keeps us sick. So we're not dealing with your anxiety. We're not dealing with your stress levels. We're not dealing with, your mental health, mental well-being, your post-traumatic stress. We're not dealing with any of that when you stay silent and you don't reach out. And I want you to start to think about doing that. I'll give you my contact information here at the end of this video, and you can reach out to me at any time, and understand that our conversation is confidential, and that whatever we say, it's kind of like I'm sitting here in my dining room at the dining room table, which is kind of my quasi office, and what happens here at the table stays at the table, so to speak. So what was also interesting in one of my conversations was the aspect that active listening is something that a lot of people really grab onto, because of the fact that it's all about listening and hearing. So being, as a journey mentor in this case, being a very astute practitioner of active listening. So listening and actually hearing, knowing when sometimes we're not looking for your opinion or for you to say anything. We just want you to listen. I need to sometimes talk my way through things. I need sometimes to be able to just say what's on my mind, or what I'm thinking, or maybe I'm thinking of going down this path, and I'm wanting to bounce ideas off you. And for the most part, as the journey mentor, my role or my focus is mental health, mental well-being, post-traumatic stress. But what it's also is to create that safe place for this conversation to take place. Now that's important, and to be able to do that, takes a bit of practice, and you need to work at it. The other aspect that goes sort of hand in hand with active listening is the idea of, it's not an idea, it's something that needs to happen, is to be non-judgmental and supportive. And so that's what's come out of some of these conversations this past week, has been just that, is that they see the journey mentor, they see me in this particular case as someone who's non-judgmental, someone who is there to provide support. I just finished a chat with one of my other mentees who's dealing with post-traumatic stress. And we changed things up a little bit on how we approached the time we were going to spend together. And I feel a lot better as a result of that. But that didn't happen on its own. That came from actually listening and hearing what they were saying. It came from them working with me to determine how I can bring additional value to our conversations in that. And all of that is important. So what I wanted to be able to do is to ask you to do a small favor for me. So at the end of this video, once you're done listening to it, what I'd ask of you, if you found value in what I'm talking about and what I've shared so far, can I get you to like and subscribe, comment if you wish, and share if you wish. But most definitely, I'd like you to like the video and subscribe to my channel as well. And like I said, comment and share on your thoughts on what we've talked about here. And if you have ideas on some different things you'd like me to speak on, please feel free to put those in the comments section. And I'd be absolutely delighted to be able to do that. And if you'd like to have a one-on-one, just so we can kind of bounce ideas off each other, I'm more than delighted to do so. Here's my contact information. So my website is www.talentc, so the word talent with the letter C on the end, .ca. So I'll repeat that for you. My website is www.talentc, talent with the letter C on the end, .ca. You can also reach out to me directly through email. My email address is this. It's doug.lawrence, and that's LAWRENCE, at talentc, so talent with the letter C on the end, .ca. So I'll repeat that for you. Doug.Lawrence, LAWRENCE, at talentc.ca. Feel free at any time to reach out if you've got questions, concerns, you'd like us to spend some time together. Be more than delighted. If you're interested in the Journey Mentor certification, please feel free to reach out to me, or any of the other certifications that we offer. We have the Certificate of Recognition, the Certificate of Achievement, obviously the Certificate of Competence Mentor, which then is the prerequisite to you going down the path to obtain your Certificate of Competence Journey Mentor. So with that, I hope this was of value to you, and I hope to see you next week, and we'll have another conversation, which will be episode 7 next week. And in the interim, make every moment a mentoring moment. Take care.